You literally have to win Miss Congeniality and be ready to kill. Yeah, I've got the killer inside. I've got the gut instinct. I've got the fire in my belly, and I do want to win. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around still that not everybody wants to see you do good. I kind of wish it was a little bit more edgy, like football, where they give interviews and they're realistic of like, screw that guy for whatever, like I did this despite that, whatever, because it really is a lot more cutthroat than I think is being advertised.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Let's Freakin Rodeo podcast presented by Boot Barn.
Fallon Taylor. We're talking about a child prodigy, phenom
Icon.
in the 90s, trendsetter, world champion, successful businesswoman.
One of the most loved, one of the most hated.
She loves to embrace it. She'll break it down on how you build a brand, create haters, keep them involved, and probably even turn them into fans.
That was well put.
It's just
well
the truth, bro.
It's Fallon Taylor. Y'all know the drill. Nothing more needs to be said. Check us out on letsfreakinrodeo.com.
With an N.
With an N. We're on the Cowboy Channel YouTube. We are on podcast, our Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere you can get it. We are on Cowboy Channel TV as well. Thank you guys for supporting. Let's get in the podcast.
Let's freaking rodeo.
Oh, shut up. To my knowledge, one of the pioneers in the sport of barrel racing, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
we're sitting here
That's
with
super nice.
Miss Fallon.
Thank you.
when you were a young phenom.
I think it's ignorance. So, youth rodeo wasn't really a thing, and there wasn't Google. So my parents, we went to the Mesquite Championship Rodeo down the road from our place. My parents moved. Well, I saw it on TV, and then they were like, "You want to go to that rodeo?" And so for my birthday, they took me to the rodeo. And then my dad was like, "You want to ride a horse in this rodeo?" And I was like, "That'd be cool." I'd never been on one. And so he was like, "Well, let's figure out how to enter Mesquite." And so my dad is an inventor, engineer. My mom was just like an amazing mom. And so he was like, "What are the steps to enter Mesquite?" And they're like, "Well, you got to have your WPRA card and horse and all these things." And he was like, "Well, let's go get all that."
No.
And enter you.
That's the first time we've heard this type of story.
So then and he still, my dad just last week said he still probably wouldn't have done it that way. He didn't quite know how fast the horses were. He was like, he was like, "You just kept saying you wanted to go faster, go faster, go faster." And then I kept setting goals. My parents just taught me about that really young because they were self-employed. And so I decided I wanted the arena record at Mesquite. So we just kept jumping it up. And then finally, I broke the arena record. And it was on I'll never forget it. It was like on a multiple sclerosis charity day. And I was able to donate my money that I won for winning the rodeo to multiple sclerosis or whatever. And I was like hooked. From then on, I was like, that felt good. Then I got to do something good. This is cool. And then I was like, I think I want to be the youngest to go to the NFR. I'm not I am-ish the youngest to go to the NFR. There was a girl that qualified, got killed on the way, and still won the world, I believe. And her name was Anne something way back in the day.
Wow.
And then Rachel Milamaki and I are just close, like birthday-wise. But she went at 12, 13, and I went at 13.
Wow.
So, among the youngest.
So how long before you're 13, you make the NFR? What year was that at Mesquite that you got on your horse for the first time?
I bought my card in 91. I made it to the NFR in 95. So.
Bought your card when you were 9?
I did. Well, 7.
7?
Yeah. So 89, I guess I bought my permit. It took me 2 years to fill it. Filled my permit at 9. I won Lafayette, Louisiana. And then they changed the rule in the middle of the night at the WPRA that you got to be 14. But they'd already grandfathered me. I got T. So we had to get an attorney to fight him. Shout out to Dana, who now works at the WPRA, because had to win a couple of things about that age limit. Because then they changed it when I qualified to the NFR. They changed it to 18.
But you're like grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in. So
you pretty much came in and made everybody change the rules.
Correct. And now our attorney works for the WPRA. So that's for a really long time. 30
years later.
Yeah. Like it worked out for everybody involved.
Yeah, right. He got a gig. But it was a long process, just kind of my whole career has been a little roadblocky like that. We're like high school rodeo. I was homeschooled. They didn't really want me high school rodeo. And then they didn't want me to ride my best horse at high school rodeo, I was like, but Dad, everybody else is riding their best horse. You know, I don't understand why I can't ride my best horse. So it was just every chapter has been just a little, but I love it because every door I knock down, somebody else can walk through. So
that's very true. It's funny you say that because I think at everybody, especially like athletes coming into this world, it's a dog eat dog world. I mean, it's cutthroat. Everybody will take care of each other and help but they want to beat you and I want to beat them, You learn that, a lot of people learn that like I did later in life, how cruel it can be. It's kind of, how do you feel about learning it in your preteens and early teenage years, kind of how the world can work in ways?
In the beginning, I had I'm a pretty naive person. I really think that everybody is telling me the truth all the time and really wants the best for me. And so adulthood has been a little rocky with kind of leaning in or giving people a lot of myself or a lot of my time or a lot of my knowledge, just because I assumed that they would do the same thing back for me. As a child, I had NFR barrel racers say like, watch that ground at the first barrel. Ooh, this is tough. And I was like, man, looking back, I was 9 and they would still do it. So when I see videos or posts or interviews or whatever of like, I just want to thank everybody. This rodeo is like a big, huge family and everybody loves me. I'm like, that is such a false advertisement. I kind of wish it was a little bit more edgy, like football, where they give interviews and they're realistic of like, screw that guy for whatever. Like I did this despite that, whatever, because it really is a lot more cutthroat than I think is being advertised as like, it's such a family thing. And I've got Jesus on my collar and we all pray together. And that's not at all what it's like. There are amazing people that pour a lot into people. And you find your people in these random parking lots that were here for a week. And you find those people that are being genuine and really want to help you. But I texted somebody this week, you literally have to win miscongeniality and be ready to kill at the same time. And that's a very wild feeling, especially for someone like myself who, yeah, I've got the killer inside. I've got the gut instinct. I've got the fire in my belly and I do want to win. But I so love the sport and I so love the people and I so love the horses and I'm rainbows and cherries. And I really like that. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around still that not everybody wants to see you do good. And that's tough. That's been a tough thing to learn.
Wow. What would your parents have to say about it? I mean, when that's something that you're dealing with and obviously you're like, Dad, why won't they not they don't want me to ride my best horse. What did your parents have to say about that?
My parents were great at sheltering me from the right stuff. And so my dad would be like, you're going to take 3 deep breaths and ride your horse because this isn't a team sport. You are just going to ride, challenge the clock, come out, and we regroup and we do it again. And he always my parents always pressed for me to continue to get mentors and reach out to people that had no stake in the game, whether it be, if I did good, it wouldn't hurt them. So we reach out to those people that, didn't have a dog in the fight. So we knew we were getting a lot of the right info. But the best thing I learned, and especially seeing Charmaine on this podcast, was the winners truly will pour into you.
Yes. Winners
are winners and winners win and they're not threatened by you at all. A winner is a winner and is not threatened. And seeing her on the podcast, I know everything she's saying is genuine and from the heart because everything she ever told me was genuine. And I am the longevity study. I have rodeoed since 1989, 1991 and seen all the generations of this. And I've never had a true winner ever try to mislead me or misguide me or be intimidated by me at all. And let me know it. And let me know you don't scare me at all. You went up in this perf that didn't show up. Bring your knife. Like it, they don't. It's a winner's a winner. And winners are going to win. Period. So, I try to reach out to when I see a permit holder or I see somebody that nobody's talking to, I do try to go over to them and say, hey, if you need anything, my number's on the trade list. Hit me up. Yeah. Like, hit me up. I've got a dog in the fight, but I'm not scared of you.
Yeah.
That's freaking got me fired up. You are bold. You're fashion. You are content creator. Were you always like that as a young girl? Those things like how you are today, Did you still have that personality back then?
I've been bullied a lot. Like a lot as a child, as an adult, as a whatever. I think my parents were always pretty well off and provided a lot for their kids, as I'm going to do for my kid. And I think anybody, whether you got $5 or $500, if you're trying to be a good parent, you're going to provide your kid with the very best. My outfits as a little kid were made by Martha Josie seamstress for the NFR, and I had a bow in my hair everywhere I went, and my mom dressed me up like a little rodeo Barbie. And that set me up for, later in life, I want everything to look a certain way and be a certain way. But what I've learned about bullying is if you get to call the target, it's a lot easier to be bullied. So if I would just wear a helmet and crazy clothes, nobody will talk about how I ride or how I did that day, or they'll just be stuck on the one thing on the helmet or the tie-dye outfit or the whatever. They won't pick on all the other stuff. And you can laugh all the way to the bank once you're branded. You know what I'm saying? Like, you brand yourself. We all look identical. We all look the same on a horse. You don't know anybody from anybody. But the minute someone suggested, they were like, you guys need numbers like in NASCAR. And a light bulb came on. And I was like, we do need numbers. We have a different back number every time. You can't cheer for number 4 or number 23. You can't cheer for anybody. You don't know who is who. And we all look exactly the same with a cowboy hat on. It's calf ropers at team. Everybody from the stands looks the same. So any way that, if you're going after sponsorships, which everybody does, especially the young people watching this podcast, they're like, how can I get help paying for this trip? Well, how are you going to brand yourself any different from anyone else if you look one of many?
Just going to follow the same old mold that's been there before, not be any different.
Because everybody's scared to be fun of, but you've got to be. I read a book called The Courage to be Disliked. You've got to have, I've told everybody too, I'm like, you can bully me, but I wouldn't bully the person in the helmet and the tie-dye because I'm the toughest.
She don't give a shit.
I am the very toughest. I have taken the brunt.
We're talking about one of the most, you said you've seen a lot of rodeo generations. The thing that has most change is what the women wear in the barrel racing. I mean, you looked back then, even before you, yellow jumpsuits. I mean, it's crazy.
It was dope. And the girls looked like $1 million. They looked like rodeo queens that happened to go fast, which I have lent a lot of that from that. My mom was like, you can be broke and you can be a loser, but you can put an outfit together of some sort. You can be clean, starched. You can look the part when you leave the trailer. So even if you lose, you still have it together. Your rig's clean. Everything's clean. You got to have it together. And I really feel like that was a huge thing for me to learn. But back in the day, also in the 90s, it was a fine for women to wear denim jeans. You had to wear colored jeans.
Really?
You had to wear colored jeans. Then it changed so Sherry Cervi really changed everything. And I wanted to be Sherry Cervi so bad. And in the 90s, she comes in, I think maybe early 2000s too. No, it was late 90s. She comes in wearing vests, a white starched shirt and starched jeans, and a feather in her horse's mane. And I was like, dude, that was dope. But that was the way to stand out then, because it was a fine to wear denim jeans. They changed it to, you can wear denim at the NFR as long as it's Wrangler. So then she was able to wear Wrangler with the leather vest and the feather in the mane. And I was like, dope. That's so cool. That's the coolest. So then everything kind of went the other way. And now it's super fun. And the other thing is competitively, like, you got to think the girl wearing something ridiculous is either going to pull one out or embarrass herself.
Yeah.
And so my mom was always like, when I would wear the crazy thing, she would be like, don't you lose.
Yeah. Everyone's going to remember.
Don't you lose.
Everyone's going to remember.
You go in there. So the crazier I dress, the more is on the line. So, when I really need to really stick it on them, I'm going to dress crazier and crazier and crazier.
Really?
For sure. Well, it distracts people. It makes them very angry also. Mm-hmm. And that's, first line of defense is, are you looking at me? Are you making fun of me with your friend instead of open circles? Are you taking pictures of me on Snapchat to make fun of me to your friends so that maybe you missed your turn. Maybe you didn't, it's first line of defense. First line of defense. Make them angry.
That's hilarious.
Everything matches top to bottom and they're like, who does she think she is? Really? It's great. It's a great line of defense.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Boot Barn.
Hey, Cole, you headed to Pinoca in a couple weeks. Where are you going to go first?
Before I cross that border, We gotta stop at Boot Barn, baby.
Boot Barn sponsors over 600 rodeos across the country. If you're a Let's Freakin' Rodeo fan and you're listening to this podcast, you probably should be a Boot Barn fan. I'm just telling you. They got 450 locations across the country from coast to coast.
They are supporting this podcast. They're supporting the rodeo industry. We support those people who support us, and that's Boot Barn.
I'm just telling you, you need some boots, some jeans, maybe a belt, shades, hat, cap, shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve. I don't care what kind of style you are. Cole me or anything in between. Go to Boot Barn or visit bootbarn.com online and get what you need. They got you covered from head to toe.
Thanks, Boot Barn, for sponsoring this podcast. As always, let's get back to it.
Well, how does it feel, though? So you looked up to Sherry Survey and, like, thought that was, you said dope, how she dressed and how she looked and the kind of the stand that she was making. Now girls are growing up watching you and wanting to dress like you, buying your clothes. I mean, how does that feel?
It's incredibly humbling, like insane, because the first run of ranch dressing was spray painted. And I'll never forget, like, I'm spray painting everything. I'm totally broke. And kind of the second chapter of my career after I retired for a while and then I wanted to come back. And I have spray painted pants on, and Brittany Posey rode up next to me to, like, look at the barrels sitting in the alley. I think it was at Calgary. And her horse laid up against me and the spray paint rubbed off on her jeans. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Because here I'd pulled off that I wasn't maybe so broke, you know, but the spray paint rubbed off. It wasn't dye. It wasn't fabric. It was spray paint. And I was like, she gonna kill me. She gonna kill me.
You don't mess with her either.
Sorry, Brittany.
What did she say?
I don't know. She didn't notice right away. And then I mean, you know where the spray paint came from. When you got in the trailer, she knew. So
there was no conversation about it, though, ever.
Well, no, but not a lot of us barrel racers chit chat a lot. Yeah. You know, where I think a lot of the cowboys talk a little bit more. Like, we do kind of, you find your people on the road and you kind of just, are you guys like that?
Oh, I think everybody's different, you know. It's hard. Like, hey, what that calf? You got to at least, in my opinion, be able to say, hey, dude, what's that? Send me a video of that calf. How was that calf over here? Or what's the setup like over there? You know, I don't know. I mean,
a baseline of communication and respect, but not everybody.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying, hey, bro, you want to go golf or whatever. Like, you have your tight circle that you're going to go hang out with, eat with, golf with.
But, like, girls are different. Not a bunch. So if I look at a girl and she just came out of the alleyway, and let's say I don't fully know where we're at, I don't mean to expose all women here, but if I look at her and I go, how's the ground? And she goes, terrible. I don't know if I can believe that. I probably maybe ought to think it's great. Like, I don't, like, I gotta think about women.
No disrespect to you. We have amazing female fans.
We are the most cunning.
Hard to read. Well, manipulative.
So when I look, I'm like, that's what everybody in my little outfit.
Because you're talking about rodeo being cutthroat. I don't know anything about barrel racing or the female contestants, but I do have pretty good understanding that the men in the sports, the calf ropers, team ropers, bulldoggers, I can trust. They're not gonna just straight up lie to me. Like
a good old gelding, is not gonna think up much new stuff that day.
Exactly.
But you might get the wrong mare and get kicked right in the chest. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I tend to. This is a tip for all barrel racers. When I hear somebody talking behind me very loudly, saying like, "Whoo, girl, that first barrel, that was tough. That was da-da-da-da," I know they're probably trying to get me. If they look me in the eye and I know them to be a winner and I trust them, I know that they're telling me the truth. Yeah. When somebody offers up information to me, I know don't take that. Don't take that. If somebody goes, hey, you better watch it. Because a winner respects that you've got your own way.
Exactly, yeah.
And will only give you feedback if you ask. But I was watching the calf roping here and somebody stuck it on them and I'm peeking through the fence just like looking to see how close they are to getting ready for barrels. And everybody starts clapping.
Yeah.
And me and my friend looked at each other. We were like, they don't do that in the barrel racing. We were like,
they're like,
you can hear a pin drop and slack. You're like, the great news is the moms, the cousins, or the fans that come and watch the slack, like they'll cheer you on.
Yeah.
But very seldom, we're in our own world for sure.
So, girl, the WPRA now you have to be 18 to buy a permit, right?
You do.
So you're gonna be you got an 18-year-old girl that let's say she's an aspiring barrel racer that's has good horses and a good support system, but she has no idea what's next steps. But she needs to buy her permit and she wants to go make the national finals next year. What would your advice be to her?
Get tickets early. It sells out fast.
Yeah.
You probably ain't gonna be on a horse.
Yeah.
You need to go put in your work. Mentors turn decades into days. Mentors
turn decades into days.
Decades into days. Mentor, mentor, mentor. Always for the rest of your life. Mentor, mentor, mentor. Real
How
winners.
do you pick, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you pick the right mentor? How do you know that you're with the right person that's leading you the right way?
They're living the life you want to lead. They're shadowing how you want to do it. Do they have a little change in their pocket? Do they have good values? Are they somebody that you can be like, yeah, that's foreshadowing way down the line. That's the life I want to live. You know, like those are the people you look after. Winners win, and they will always, I say this with a little caveat, but the majority of the time, if you don't go for the middle of the road just because you're shy, you go for the highest up, best person that you can think to reach out to. Those people can't wait. They have so much knowledge spilling out of their brain that they can't wait to share it. And that's always been my experience.
Wow. So mentors like horses. When you show up to the rodeo, you start with the best one. And if they turn you down, go down the line.
Go, just keep ticking down. It's like chicks when you start dating, I'm pretty sure. You just shoot for the cheerleader, and you might have to get sliding down.
I'm probably going to have to slide.
Do some sliding. Then you get,
I might not actually shoot for the top.
We're going to start you in the 3D, and we're going to bump you up.
Yeah. Hey, the purse pays the same in 3D at the lot of times.
It sure does. If they equal payout. You never know.
What's something that people still misunderstand about you?
I think like most people, when I try to zoom out and look at myself and try to have a lot of self-awareness, because I think that's a really important thing as an adult, as anybody trying to achieve anything, is have a lot of accountability and a lot of self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
As self-aware as I try to be, I honestly don't know my perception. I don't know when I leave the room what my identifier is, but I really would like to know, what's my identifier when I leave the room? I know that, my go-to is to play dumb a lot, but I think people have figured out I'm probably not that dumb anymore. I think
that's after this podcast.
Probably, I think they're probably like, yeah. So I'll just be like, I don't know, and it just may be, I think that the feedback I may be giving you would be wrong, or maybe you would misunderstand. There's a lot of things self-awareness wise that maybe I don't know about myself. So I really don't know the perception about me to properly know what people get wrong about myself. But I just hope to gain more self-awareness every day. And the feedback that I get is that I take a lot of time for my fans, and I'm doing that right, because that was not done to me as a kid. I was pushed away a lot. So that's been my kind of go-to, is even if people are crawling in the alleyway, which they've done several times, I still go, hey, I'll get you right after this run. Or, if you just give me a minute, this horse is going to try to run you over. But if you just give me a minute, I'd be happy to talk to you or chat with you for a minute. And that's something I'm really proud of. But misconceptions, I'm not really sure. Got to gain some more self-awareness, maybe.
What about, okay, so the barrel races were trendy. They were bold with their fashion. Sherry Cervi come around, done that. Now the standard is the opposite. Now you're the outlier with bold fashions in a more traditional sport now. What do you have to say to people who might think, man, too bold, too flashy? Do you have people that think that?
My favorite is like Facebook boomers, because they just super don't understand marketing at all whatsoever, or the fact that rodeo doesn't pay that good. And so we're all out here hustling, trying to pay our fees, and diesel is not free. And how important it is for us to have some sort of side quest to be able to fill up the truck and go down the road. And I want this to feel like a hobby for me now, and not like a survival thing, because I've done it both ways. So it's part of my branding. And so I really chuckle or laugh at the people that still have something to say, because that means that I haven't hit everybody yet. If somebody's still upset about my clothes after I've been doing this since 2013 with this really crazy stuff, even when I was a kid, but people don't see that because it's not well documented from back then.
I know. I couldn't find nothing on YouTube.
I know. It's been forever.
Unbelievable.
So a really, really long time, but it's just funny to me when people still kind of do that. And a friend of mine a long time ago told me, I don't even know if she knows that when she told me this, how much it's impacted my career, but she said, when people walk, run, and when people run, walk. So if people start wearing all crazy stuff, I will be wearing all denim. I will be full Canadian tuxedo and a cowboy hat everywhere I go. But until then, maybe a misconception is that I dress like that all the time. But, my favorite color is black. And, I dress pretty normal and very average.
So your favorite color is black. You're an average type dresser, and you're that bold. It's never been like God, I don't want to do this anymore. You decided that's the decision you're going to make because it's the best for your brand. That's how you're going to stick out. That's how you're going to make money and be successful. And that just is what it is. And I'm just going to do it.
The flip side of that is, I can't sing or dance, right? So this is my outlet of being an entertainer of some sort. And people do buy a ticket to the perf. It's so cool to see the little girls dress up like me. Or my mom always told me, you're not an icon until somebody can be you for Halloween. And so I run a little Halloween contest every year. It's so cute. But to see the little girls be able to emulate that in some way or dress like a princess or a rodeo queen or something, and then see you do something so badass in a rodeo arena and be a winner, I just think that's really cool. So no, I feel like people are getting their money's worth when they're able to see somebody pick them out, cheer for the horse. You know, it's not just me, but be able to go, oh, I know that's the lady that's riding Puma, and then be able to really cheer for their favorite. I think that's just also really cool.
Yeah.
Talk about, you mentioned, which I didn't even know this, you broke your neck, and you mentioned that you were paralyzed. What is that? What happened?
That was a rough day.
When was that?
So 2009, I was bucked off at home, just riding colts, and wasn't even on a colt, just a fresh horse. And he skull fractured me in 4 places, broke my pelvis, broke my collarbone, broke the bones all the way around this eye. I didn't have to have any kind of reconstructive surgery whatsoever. And then these marks up here are from the halo. So I broke my C2, which is your...
So you had the
halo. Yep.
Wow.
I was in the halo for a year.
Do you have any pictures of that?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna need to get that. We're gonna need to
see
see
some pictures of the halo. And that's, I think, when I learned a lot about YouTube and sharing my story, because I really hid. I was embarrassed I got bucked off. I was embarrassed I got hurt that I got bucked off. And that's when I had like a full come to Jesus about like, man, I thought I couldn't train a horse that was good enough to go back to the NFR after I'd taken a break. And I was in the middle of training. And I was like, well, now I got to train one and then see if I can go back and see if I can actually win a world title. But the halo was a big deal. So I had to shave my head and get the halo in. And I was back riding a year later, but I had to learn to walk and talk. Had an incredible nurse that got me out of the hospital in 3 days. So great news is it was very fast for me. And I told my parents that I was in a fender bender while they were out of town with their grandkids. So I didn't want them to know I was in a hospital and couldn't walk.
Oh my gosh.
So I was scared. I was like, I got to get up because when they get home, they are going to freak out that
and then they saw you in the halo, and then the fender bender story didn't work for very long.
It did not work out. Somebody actually got a hold of that I was in the hospital and called my parents for an interview. So It did not go well for long. It was fast. And so I was like, the sweet nurse was in there and I was like, I got to walk. And she was like, that ain't going to happen. I was like, I have got to get out of here. And she was like, I don't know what to tell you. She was like, if you can get to moving your big toe, we can maybe do something. And then she was like, well, I can get the thing from the ceiling to help you up. Maybe. But if you fall, like, you could die. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm going to die right here anyway. Like, let's get up. So shout out to her for making it actually happen. And then when I had my mom pick me up from the hospital, she got the full meal deal. So.
And so what was that process like? You said you had the halo on for a year?
Yes, for I was supposed to have it on for exactly a year. Ended up having it on for a little bit less than that because my neurologist went out of town. So I was able to talk the intern into taking the halo off of me. I knew I couldn't talk the other guy, the neurosurgeon, into taking it off, but the substitute teacher, I was able to talk him into it. I was like, no, he said this is coming off on this day. And they took it off and I got right back to riding. But my staff, almost all of them quit because I started Baby Flo the week I came home from getting it off. And she had never been she'd been like lately halter broke. And they were like, this is what you're going to start with. I'd sent her to the trainer for 30 days. The cutting horse guy said, this is the one that's going to kill you. I'm sending her home. And so
she
that
was crazy.
She was a major problem. I mean, cow horse guys don't send horses home. And so they sent her home and said, this is the one that's going to kill you. And I was like, well, I didn't just die. So surely I can't break my neck twice, right? So then I started her and that was my mission. She was my purpose for sure.
So you started her and you knew she was the one from the beginning.
30 days in, the first jackpot won the 1D, like by a margin. And within like, I don't know, 90, 120 days, I made the short round on her at Denver of being broke. I mean, she's just a freak of nature.
What?
And I documented the majority of it on YouTube because I've been doing YouTube so long. And I documented the majority of it and then I missed the NFR in 2012 by $700. And then went to the NFR in 2013, was the worst girl there. Hit every barrel.
What happened in 2014?
And then won the world in 2014.
Really?
I hit every barrel in 2013 on the parking lot, in the alleyway, everywhere a trash can was, I hit it. And it was really embarrassing. And so I was like, okay. So it was just like, you know, loss overcome, loss overcome, loss overcome.
Wow.
And then 2014, I was like, nobody tell me what the numbers are. I'm just going to keep riding my horse. Like, nobody tell me what the numbers are. And then I came out like 10th round. They swung the gate. My dad looks at me with this like panicked face and he goes, just ride your horse. I knew what this meant. I knew it meant if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be the world champion.
He's freaking out over there.
Everybody, don't tell me any numbers. I'm not going to do any numbers in my head. Just round by round.
Really?
And then I placed higher than Lisa Lockhart in that round and won the world. And I came out. I was in utter shock because I had no clue. I had erased. I men in blacked myself. No idea. Nobody tell me anything.
What?
Deleted all apps off my phone.
What was that like after the 10th go around and realizing it when you had no idea?
Well, let me tell you about it. Because I get down to the bottom. Have you won the world?
Me? No.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me tell you what to do.
Far from it. Never had to worry about that.
So they shuttle you down. So you don't get the victory lap, right? So the average winner gets the victory lap. But I've never been that good at the NFR to really worry about it. So Lisa's taken the victory lap. And I'm like, okay, why are they taking me down? They tell me, you've won the world, you won the world. Go down, talk to the interview lady. I get down there and they go, she didn't win the world, right? Because Lisa won the average. Well, I guess that conversation which straight threw me into extreme vomit mode. I was like, somebody find me a trash can and I'm going to throw up. This is like too much.
Because then you thought, I didn't
win the world. And they brought me down here by accident. I guess historically, those that win the average win the world, especially in the barrel race. But I had outplaced her in a round. And so it ended up, it was very close. And anyway, I won the world, but it was tight.
What do you remember? Did you come in number one that year?
Came in number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
So you just, had to run some barrels there if Lisa won the average. Mm-hmm. And then that's
and
amazing.
I hit a barrel.
And wow.
Yep. But she hit a barrel too.
So was that, 30 days in?
Kaylee Bass was number 1. But
really?
We both kept kind of shot up. Yeah.
Wow.
I want to ask, 2014, you're riding, tell me, rookie year was 1991?
Mm-hmm.
How many years is that?
23 years.
When did it start? Were you like, you're right, you're elevating, you're getting better, but then you're not getting
great.
You're not getting great and you're not achieving that ultimate goal. Did you feel like this, like I have to get this gold buckle eventually?
So in 95, 95 was my first qualification. 98, I told my parents, I think I just want to go do something else.
Yeah.
Because rodeo is very carnival.
Yeah.
You're very you're a carny in a parking lot going on the same trail. It gets very redundant. And you're like, I kind of want off the ride. And I'd gotten recruited to go model in New York. So I decided I'm going to go do that. I'm going to move to New York. So I moved to Manhattan. And then that was just boring. I made a good living. I got my own apartment. I was 17, did all that. And then I was like,
living in New York, own apartment at 17 years old.
Yes. Model apartment. So we had other people in it, but I'd been on the road forever. So New York was no big deal. My next door neighbors were Wu-Tang Clan. It was awesome. So that was
You're
great.
talking about the actual rap group, right?
Actual Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah.
I don't even know what this is. What is
it's like in their old school rap.
Yeah,
rap group.
Man.
Like
no
rappers.
Way. Yeah.
Famous old school rap.
Famous.
Wow.
You need to listen to some Wu-Tang.
How do you spell that?
W-U-Tang. T-A-N-G. Wu-Tang.
I didn't know
That's going to be on your next vlog. You showing him Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang. You need to know. Comment below if you know who Wu-Tang Clan is and if you have the t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, so forgive my guy here. Mm-hmm. You live next to Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes,
and you're
I
living the life in New York City.
Yeah, and it was just like rodeo. It's not what it's cracked up to be. There's not much glamour. It's a tough job. I was booking. I was doing really good. Really, really bored with it. So I decided to move to LA. and do some acting stuff, TV stuff, see if I could get in there, see if I could accomplish it. My dad has always said, this has become a My Dad Quotes podcast, but he's always said, if you come to a fork in the road, take it. And he has always just really encouraged me that every time you get an itch to do something, do it because there's a lesson in there that God has for you, whatever it is. Now I know that my lesson is be good on camera, be decent on camera, be able to inspire, be well-spoken, represent your brand. All of those things would be very important. I didn't know that it was me getting some really C-list stuff that would teach me how to be comfortable in front of the camera as an introvert. I'm not very social.
Right.
So being on camera has been a very important part of my job, and being around strangers that come up to me or little kids that want to hug me. All of those things trained me for that moment. So like all the layers of my life, like I see how that has all worked now, and God's plan's not very clear in the moment. You're like, why is this, why did I break my neck? Why did my horse die? Why did all these things happen? But now when I look back, the clarity. So now when I see when something bad happens, I know there's a lesson in it. And I don't want to have to learn it twice.
Right.
I want to get the lesson instead of like the why me process of why is this happening to me? This always happens to me. Like it's always going to happen until you find the lesson. So, I don't want to, have you ever had that repetitive thing
100%.
Happen in your life?
Yes.
Like, and you're like, oh, this keeps, for me, it's various different things. And I'm like, okay, I need to stop and get the lesson out of this. So anyway, I think New York and LA were places for me to learn lessons, places for me to experience different things, step outside of rodeo, and for me to realize I really love it. I really do love it. A lot of people have asked me like, why are you back? Why would you do this to yourself?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to experience it with my kid, my husband, and, with money. I don't have to survive.
It might suck, but it's a lot more fun.
It's a lot more
when
fun
you don't have to win to get to the next one or to eat that cheeseburger.
I remember, like in Canada, digging out loonies and toonies to try to get a hot dog. Like those are very fresh on my memory. So I want to do it again, being able to go to the water park and ride some go-karts in between and not having to count pennies.
For sure.
It's been fun.
All right, guys, another weekly segment coming at y'all of Rodeo for Dummies presented by Shady Rays. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered for all your premium polarized shades needs. If you need some nice shades, Shady Rays is the place to go.
Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized sunglasses that won't break the bank.
Shady Rays is a proudly independent sunglasses company that can rival even the most expensive brands.
It ain't always you get what you pay for, because with Shady Rays, they can rival anybody.
Affordable.
Double frames. Crystal clear optics, bro. And they're affordable. But if yours go MIA or they break, their lost and broken protection plan will take care of you for up to 30 days.
Exclusively for Let's Freakin' Rodeo listeners, you can use code LFR35 for 35% off at shadyrays.com.
You can join over 300,000 customers to leave a 5-star review.
Thanks, Shady Rays, for sponsoring Rodeo for Dummies. Let's get into it.
I could host this.
You could.
I know the rules inside and out. Put me in, coach.
So my question, I was going to, let me consult with my partner real quick. I was going to ask, because we didn't talk about this.
We were going to talk about it before you got here, but we got beat.
The most common questions fans have for her when she gets to rodeo.
I love this question.
That's a great one. That is a great one.
What were you thinking?
I was going to ask her which way do you have to go around barrels, because some people would never think, why do they go left first, why do they go to right? But that's a good one too.
That's a really good one. Why do some go left? Which one do you feel comfortable?
Well, the one with the best answer is what do fans ask me the most? The most common question I get asked is, what is your fastest time? And so it's a common misconception that barrel racing, I've referred to this podcast to a standard pattern. There is a standard pattern, which is 60 feet from the timer to the barrels, 90 feet between the first and second barrel, 105 feet from the second barrel to the third barrel. That's a standard pattern. And we get to run on that during the summer, but very seldom do we run on that at Houston or Austin or any other of the building rodeos, or a lot of times throughout the year. So, if you go to Rapid City and you run an 11.5, but you go to Pendleton and you run a 29.3, the fans don't quite understand, why is there no regulatory system in place for us to understand if you're fast or not? Mm-hmm. So the big thing for me is, what's your fastest time? Well, my fastest time is an 11.5 in Rapid City, but that doesn't mean anything because every day it changes.
Yes.
What is
so different pattern sizes in the barrels?
Correct.
That's why the times are so different.
Yep.
To run an 11.5, how close would they have to be?
I mean, it's like running inside of a postage stamp.
Yeah.
It's just the craziest little teeny tiniest.
You literally turn
arena.
and as soon as you get off, you can't even really get your horse at full speed.
Yeah. It's not really a horse race. That's an accuracy race for sure.
Right. It's interesting.
Wow.
There's a lot of hockey rinks like in Canada and stuff that have tiny patterns.
Do you feel like, because I am not an expert in calf roping, but does the score change how fast you can be or any of those
100%,
things?
Yeah. I mean,
calves that day, all the things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, calf size, how many times those calves have been roped, so how fresh and wild they are,
right?
How much you have to kind of slow down to make sure the calves don't
So you can't say
kick.
same thing with
My
me.
fastest time ever doesn't make a
difference.
It was in a junior open in high school where we had a shorter barrier that wasn't a PRCA length barrier and small calves. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's interesting. That was a really good answer.
Fun.
For sure. So when did you get full-time rodeoing again? I mean, I've been seeing you around the last couple of years, but I'm not really an avid barrel racing watcher at the rodeos. I respect barrel racers. Y'all
respect it.
I respect it from afar.
Oh, you're a dime a dozen. So I've rodeoed. I've kind of met the 20 rodeos a year requirement of if the WPRA were to ever take, you guys, I think in a lot of your stuff have exemptions.
Yes.
That you could enter under an exemption where we don't have that. But I thought, I'll keep rodeoing in case that ever pops up. So I've rodeoed every year. Also, I love making YouTube content and you can only go to a jackpot barrel race with $20 added so many times. So it behooves me to go a little bit and show the behind the scenes. And I'm addicted to it. I love it. I really do. But it didn't make sense for me to go after I retired Baby Flo. It didn't really make sense to me to go a lot. And then I started watching a lot of golf. And I don't play golf, but I watch a lot of golf. And I started seeing the sports psychology side of it. And so then I started visiting with sports psychologists and realized that I really do want to make a stab at it again. And after talking to them and kind of talking through my goals and being a little bit more centered about what is it that I want, my husband and I decided hey, our kid is 3. We can have a lot of fun. We can go think of it as 3 months backpacking Europe, but with horses and definitely not Europe.
Just like Europe, but different.
But ghetto. So we're can we go to some places? He'll get to see so much. He'll get to experience so much. We go to so many beautiful places. Not to completely contradict myself with people not all, the rodeo not being a big family, but families do travel together and kids are the ultimate social experiment with I probably wouldn't talk to you just passing by. Because I'm kind of shy unless you come up to talk to me. Mm-hmm. But the kids, when they make friends with themselves, I made a lot of friends here just because, the kids are playing together and then I introduce myself to the parents and that's been really cool. So a little contradictory to me when I was traveling solo, but the kids it's been really cool.
What you're saying though is it's true because rodeo from an outside branding perspective is it's all family. We're all great, amazing people. None of us have bad sides, which I think that's why this podcast has been the success it's had is it showed a little bit of the real side, but that doesn't mean everybody's terrible. It means that there is some real life stuff that happens, but there's also some real life good people as well. But it's just a cliche, stereotypical rodeo branding that it's just cliche,
Well, I was telling my husband last night, in the 90s, in this parking lot, we would have had a grill out over here, 2 picnic tables, a big fire. Somebody would have been playing the guitar. Not to paint this picture of the older I get, the more nostalgic it was. But that's really how it was. Yep. And then when we'd pull to a rodeo, there was no GPSs, no cell phones. So we would all caravan okay, let's all leave at 7 a.m. for the slack over here. Yep. Well, you never had trouble. Somebody's rig broke down. Hell, we had 5 rigs. You could throw your horse and stuff in. We'd leave that rig on the side of the road. Somebody's driver, would jump in that and then wait for the tow truck or whatever. It really, the nostalgia of that, I know will probably never happen again. Yeah. But my husband was we can make it that way. He, he's just a cool guy. He was we can set up, we'll run town. I'll go get briskets and we'll set it up and just see who shows up and just see what happens, which I think would be kind of cool. Very seldom are we in this scenario, except at Cheyenne or, when we're here for a few days. Everywhere else we're going as quickly as possible. I do also think we're hitting a lot more rodeos than we used to back then too. So it's a little bit less conducive to that. But it's not, of course, when you're winning and you give an interview, you thank everybody. Barrel racers, I don't think the tractor driver, the ground was garbage. We thank him. Thank you so much. Thank you tractor driver, thank you so much. Just the committee, just, when you're winning, I do it. Everybody does it. You're just like, man, the support, thanks to my sponsors and everything's great. But, we never show kicking rocks across the parking lot when we do bad, which is, I think, why you guys have been so successful, because it is fun to take a little peek behind the curtain.
No, yeah, it really is. I mean, that's what, I think it was 2023. We were talking the first time I got on camera. I still am not very good at it. I was really terrible then. I was real choky up when I talked, but I said, everybody that does this maybe not even for a living, but you do this for an extended period of time, the trials and the tribulations that you have to go through to get those NFR back numbers, to get those world championships, everyone goes through. I mean, it looks like sunshine and rainbows, but it's cool to see people creating the content for everyone else in the world to see kind of what goes into it and how difficult it can be. I mean,
I'm currently like selfie vlogging myself on my worst days and just putting them in an album for when I come out the other side. I'm doing really good now, but last week or the week before, I just kept like drawing bad and weather and just all the things that could happen, just small mistakes, just really costly small mistakes. And I just was like, I should probably selfie vlog these, because I hate when you get to the sunshine and rainbows part of it, of like, hey guys, here we are again. And here I won again. Can't wait to go to the next one. Yep. And it's like, I really want people to see here I am crying in the bathroom, and it sucks. This really sucks. And I feel like I've drugged my family out here for absolutely nothing. And I'm wasting time. And I could be at home working on my business and making a lot more money than I am out here. $50 a pop every time I get 10th place somewhere, So I've been kind of captain's logging some stuff, because I just feel like that's what I want to see. I want to know how you crawl out of the hole, because and future me probably needs to reference it.
Right.
So like, I can't post it now because other people will use it for strategy, but I can post it later.
Right. Exactly.
You ever been interested in like a full documentary, like movie type stuff? I'm sure that's something you got to look at. That's something.
Well, I did something really cool on my channel. I lost my mom really suddenly in 2020, and we were making a documentary, and it's a 2-part series called Unfiltered. It's on YouTube, and it's hours long, and it was really cool. But my problem, and why I kind of smiled, is because every time I've started to shoot some sort of documentary, I get this life-altering, like, horrible things happen. It just like unfolds on camera. And I was like, man, this is like the curse of the vlogs, of like, there for a while, and we called them the vlog gods. I'm like, the vlog gods like want these to be more interesting. So like, there goes my axle on fire, and now my engine blows up, and now I'm pregnant walking down a highway trying to rent a car. Like, all of these things happen. And I was like, we're going to calm this down a little bit, because I'm starting to think like every time I do a documentary, it just gets like wilder and wilder. But I urge everybody to go watch it, because it was a really cool thing to film. It just was very unfortunate that we're filming through my mom dying, and then COVID, and then and it was just like, okay, we got to put a stop. But it would be really cool. Absolutely.
Wow.
What about, talk about barrel racing horses, or actually we could talk about leg lifting. I mean, that just came to my mind.
Somebody's going to get a viral clip of this.
Are you a leg lifter? Are you a supporter of leg lifting?
Let me tell you this. In the era of Charmaine days, I also did not leg lift. And then it was reaching for barrels. That was very controversial, was to reach and set up barrels. But I have a whole line of fence at my house that I was able to put up $26,000 worth of fence from putting up a barrel with my hand. I'm a big believer in just get through it however you can get through it. I am a big believer. I only watched a small clip. I'm a huge Charmaine fan, but I only watched a small clip. I hear what she was saying about, you probably should diagnose what's going on, that there may be an issue. You may have something going on that you may to look at. And then the other side of that of like, I'm trying to survive.
Yeah. I mean,
I think competition's a lot different now too.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what's so weird about why it went viral, and why was it even controversial? Because she didn't say anything controversial. All she said was, I, as probably the greatest barrel racer to ever live, believe that if you're having a leg lift, it's because you're not making the right run. And no one would even argue that. I don't think, like, Emily Biles was like, I know I wasn't making the right run. That's why I lifted my leg. I'm not arguing with Charmaine. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was weird that went viral. That was strange to me.
You ride your horse in the right spot, and then every once in a while you have to leg lift to make a play. Like, I would rather lift a leg than knock the barrel down if it come down to it for $30,000 than a far. but let's just ride around the barrel the right way the next time. It doesn't seem like a complex issue.
I also think that, and this may be very controversial, but I think that a lot of people haven't done this long. And I've been able to see a lot of phases of this. A lot of people now think our horses are so much faster. But I have VHS tapes of Charmaine on Scamper running a 17-0 on a standard pattern. And a 17-0 on a standard pattern is a 17-0 on a standard pattern. And the track records at the Kentucky Derby are still from the 70s. Our horses, I don't think, have gotten all that much faster. I do think we drag the ground now. I think we've gotten better into preventative maintenance. I do think, we take care of a lot more stuff. I think we can watch YouTube videos of the rodeo before we get there. I can FaceTime somebody at a rodeo and see exactly how it is. I've got a weather app that tells me exactly what the weather's going to do on that day to see how I want to draw or if I want to trade out of that perf. I also think the competition is more dense. I don't necessarily think we're all that much faster. I think we've improved a lot of things for the industry, but I do think the competition is more dense. Where back
it's deeper. You're saying it's more women that have an ability to go in at a high level.
A good horse. Yeah. Where back then because a lot of people are like, oh, would Baby Flo win today? Baby Flo ran a 16.8 on a standard, 16.9. So did Scamper. So did Bozo. All these really iconic horses. But now there's somebody with a 16.82, 16.83, 16.85, 16.87 right behind you.
You're not blowing them out of the water by tenths very often.
You're not doing that very, very often. You're still doing it every once in a while. But, we ride a lot of race-bred horses, and they're not breaking the racetrack records. So I don't feel like those horses have gotten so much faster. I think we've bred the horses for the job. I think the horses now are a lot more specialty, where the horses then were like, we rode the same horses at the indoor pins, the outdoor pins, the whatever else, where now you might have an indoor horse, outdoor horse, a deep ground horse, a hard ground horse, where you're going to be a lot trickier to beat in a lot more scenarios.
60 days in, you said you knew with Baby Flo, like you knew that was it. She was the one. From that time frame, you said you never quit barrel racing these last 10 or 11 years. Have you been like chasing that feeling? Like, I know when I ride a really, really good calf horse and I got that feel, I'm like, God, I want to find that again. Is that how it is with you with Baby Flo?
Isn't that everybody that has success though?
Yeah.
Like, aren't you always like, I think people that are really driven and ambitious, everybody's addicted to something.
Yeah.
Whether it be a substance or an achievement, everybody's addicted to something. And I just am really grateful that my addiction has been to some sort of achievement or success or improvement of myself.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario, right? Or academics or whatever it might be. I think there for a while, mine was approval. And then very quickly I figured out, well, if I do the opposite of getting everyone's approval, that's a lot more profitable. That's a lot more ambitious. And it's a lot harder. It is very easy to be the person that is like everyone. It's very easy to do that. And I think the bigger challenge is to really be yourself. That really makes you the unicorn.
Tell me, do you have, over the years, talking about horses, race horses, you find the fast horse, you beat everybody by a couple tenths and they're unstoppable. Have there been, have you yourself, or you heard of any creative ways, man, I'm going to this old racetrack, this sale over here, or what are some creative ways you found some good horses, or where you look to find the next one?
There was a horse that I missed on at the sale barn that a guy was riding bareback across the rocks, and he's kind of cowbred. I think he was kind of cowbred. He went to the NFR with the girl that could come up with the money before me, and they wanted, I think, $7,500 for him, and I didn't have the money. And he was a gray horse, and I think Shelley Morgan, that was the horse Shelley Morgan took to the NFR. And I think she called him, I'm going to get this wrong, because I wasn't going to the NFR at that time. I was just riding colts for people and whatever else. But I think she called that horse Short Go or Short Round or something. But I missed on that horse. And I'm very spoiled. And I realize that when I make my content of going, Baby Flo was raised in my backyard, et cetera, et cetera. I know that Dr. Nick Bar was one of the greatest producing stallions of all time, still in the top 10 of all time producers that my parents bought for me. Mm. And I know that Flowers and Money, the mare, that I went to the NFR on her 4 times. So it's pretty unfair to say I raised and trained this mare myself. That dog was going to hunt, and I have 4, I had 5 colts out of that mare and stud combo. But 1 Baby Flo, so still it's not a guarantee. You've got 1, and I probably raised 100 colts between now and Baby Flo. And I do think there's some secret sauce there. I think that my desperation to survive and to come back from a broken neck lent a lot to that journey of wanting to win. I wanted to win the world, and I wanted to win Horse of the Year. And I won second and first different years in Horse of the Year because I wanted to give that trophy to my parents. And then I wanted to win the world just because I was like, I had to be saved for something. Like I had to be taught I could do something better and bigger, you know? So I wanted that. Now to rodeo, I'm like, I want to show that I can do it from a different place because I did it from such a place of despair. And
now you do it just for love. I mean,
Right.
love of the game and like just love, like enjoying the process. You're saying,
yeah, I really love this, and I think too, I think a lot of people, and I really hope I get some hate on this podcast because it'll be a great example. But I really hope that people understand that you are just a person. So when you do read the comments, which Joe Rogan says never read the comments, but when you read the comments, there is something that gets under your skin. You will see something, you know, we'll see somebody say, she'll be nothing without baby Flo, or she'll be, you know, whatever it may be. And there is a part of you that kind of connects to one of those. And I think that's why having haters is so important. You want to be fueled by something that may have a glimmer of truth to it. Am I done without baby Flo? Maybe I am. Well, we better try this again. Let's see if there's a secret sauce.
But
Let's try it again.
Are you letting people then? That's letting people drive you to do what they want to.
It has to resonate with me though.
Okay.
You know, like if they say I'm ugly or fat or chunky or stupid or they don't like how I ride or I'm the big thing for me, which you're not dialed into barrel racing, but I'm a starfisher. I don't know if you knew that.
What is that?
That starfishing is when you kick with your legs straight out and you really send them. You also are a starfisher if you didn't know that when you leave the box.
Now that you say that, I see that
you are a starfisher.
That's sickening.
And you are hurting the horsey. I also use a bit. That's cruel to animals. Don't tell the Pony Express in the 1800s, but that is animal cruelty.
A bit.
So apparently. So a bit. And now I've recently added in spurs.
Oh gosh. No.
These poor animals.
I know.
You're terrible.
So, you know, it has to resonate with me. There's got to be a little trigger. You know, when they trigger you a little bit, it's because there's some truth to that. You know, if I said, you know, you blah, 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 but you know exactly who you are, that's not going to affect you. If you have the courage to be disliked, none of those things are going to affect you. But if a little tinge of something is there, it's kind of like my dad saying, if you see a fork in the road, take it. If there's an opportunity, take it. If that's something that's itching on me just a little bit, let's explore that, because it's not really the goal. Winning the world doesn't do anything for you, really. Like you didn't wake up the next morning with the ability to fly. Like it was one of my darkest, most depressed days of my life when I woke up the next morning because I caught the tater. Well, now what do you do? Well, now what do we do? But if you can zoom way out and go, who did I become in the process? Not trying to be completely woo-woo, but honest to God, like who will I become in the process of seeing if I still got it? Good mom, great wife, goal setter again. I don't want to be comfy. I don't want to get money gut, you know, like just comfy. Exactly. That's not a place to be. You're sleeping in satin sheets. So you need to struggle. Struggle in the gym, struggle in your diet, struggle in your goals, climb a mountain. Like you get comfortable, and comfortable doesn't come with millions of dollars. Comfortable comes with a routine, a good routine. I'm setting my ways. The kids go to, you know, this time of day and that time of day. Like, I think that's when we start to decline. And I see a lot of people, I'm 42 now, and I see a lot of people my age or 10 years older than me that are like, oh, I'm too old for that. And they talk like, we do not say that in our house. You are not allowed to say that. We lift heavy. We go out, we do big things.
Lift heavy as in working
out. Yeah,
Your husband looks swole, so.
He's a big guy. And he feels small right now, just so you know. Like he thinks he's way underperforming.
Wow. So too busy chasing that boy around.
Yeah.
Too much cardio.
He goes.
That sucker is moving.
Brand goes.
He's
20 hours a day.
He's got that camera in the arena too, and I got no time to work out. Oh.
He has the hardest job of all of us. How he watches the baby, fights off the gate guy that wants to see his card and carry the camera so he can get vlog content. Like I every day tell him, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And he won't let me drive 1 mile. Set the bar high, ladies. Set the bar high. Never settle. Never settle.
You don't drive at all?
Not a mile. And I drove every mile for the last 100 years myself. And he's like, this is what I do. And then we stop, does all the marketing and, you know, like.
So talk to me about the dynamic of cameraman, husband, seems to be business partner.
Yep.
What is that dynamic in relationship like? Is it just always sunshine and rainbows?
I just think that we have maybe my parents were married for a bajillion years. First love, that whole thing. Like I'm divorced. And so I tried that out. It did not go how I thought it was going to go. So then I got a lot better at red flags. A lot better at the red flags.
At least you didn't have a kid, right, with the first marriage.
Do what?
Did you have a kid with the first marriage? Thank the Lord.
Kids. Wouldn't change my name. No kids. I was like, that's how you know this is probably a bad setup. I should probably get out of this. So my name is not legally Fallon Taylor. I would like to add that. I am Fallon Taylor McRae. Change my name. I'm a lifer on this one. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, guys.
Come on.
I am a marriage flunky, so that is a big deal for me. No, Alex is incredible, and all green flags. Alex has a 100% green flags. Just a really great guy, and really a big goal setter, and all of the things we are contributors into each other's goals and wants and attributes, and I think that's a big deal. But I wanted that like 50s marriage where we're always together, and we got a guy that we buy round bales from came, and I said, "What's your secret to your marriage?" Before Alex and I got married, and he goes, "We do everything together." And he was like, "If you can't be with that person all of the time, that's your red flag." So Alex and I are together. We've been apart, I think, 3 days. And we've been married for 8 years. Almost, I mean, we've been together almost a decade. We've been apart 3 days.
Wow.
That's
so
cool.
Like, it's really cool. And I just think we have we got just kind of an old school marriage. Like, we don't want our goals to drive us apart. So right now is my time to pursue something. And I know that will change. Yeah. I know that we will be pursuing Brand's goals with him, or Alex will, he played rugby and wants to start. He's got a men's clothing line that will be coming out very soon, and we'll be pursuing that together. So we've made that commitment that we are going to be dialed into what each other is going after.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's cool too, because he's here, but he also knows you got ranch. Is it ranch dressing?
We have ranch dressing. We have tactical, which is our saddle line.
So he's out here videoing, knowing the money.
We manage a staff of 12. We have an incredible staff, or we couldn't do it. There's a lot of wheels. There's a lot of irons in the fire. So tactical, we sponsor some calf ropers. We sponsor some breakaway ropers that are in the world standings right now. And we have saddle company and tack and all the things. Ranch dressing is obviously clothing and apparel. And then Alex will have his clothing line coming out very soon, which is called Westbound. And we have another saddle accessory line called the Saddle Sack. We have a lot of irons in the fire. Mm-hmm. So we take a lot of time out of the day to pursue that. I have a laptop on my lap 10 hours a day while we drive. But honestly, there's no better place in the world to work than a truck.
That's awesome.
It kind of is the best.
That's what I say, but he gets car sick.
Well, I got a fiance, so I'm flying in, flying out.
Yeah.
I'm not a bit built for this life. 8 people in this RV.
I gave you some good marriage advice.
You did. I'm going to take it. You're right.
There's some really, really good books on it too. Questions to ask your spouse before you get married. It's really good.
I need to read that.
We have never, ever had a discussion about money. And I think that's when you hear about people and when I say discussion, we never had an altercation about money. Mm. Everything has been, we put all of our eggs in one basket, and if I can't trust how you spend or trust the decisions that you make financially, we shouldn't be in this deal anyway.
Wow.
So that's for all my barrel racers out there.
So another question.
Set high standards, you're telling them.
Very high. Very high. Wars have been fought, lost, and won over a woman. We have all the leverage. 100%. You cannot buy a good mare anywhere. And listen, good mares make good colts. If you want good colts, you got to have the best mare.
What are you going to say to them bad mares?
That don't produce.
Golly.
I don't need a colt out of just your average mare. We got to. And that's the other thing. Hello. Good mares we're not flesh and embryos anymore. The ladies that are really high achievers are not producing anymore. I was so excited when Jackie Hobbs had kids. I was like, I should do this. I should have a baby. Because when I was like, man.
It'd be an injustice to the world if you didn't, right?
Injustice to the world. Because all we're going to have is a bunch of mediocre colts. We got to have some good stock.
Good stock coming out.
Stock.
Genetics, bloodline.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. I want to know, you're talking about your businesses and stuff. What do you see? Like I already know you're not going to give away too much, but like, what do you see about the Western industry in 10 years, what it would be like? Because you're betting on, you're starting clothing lines, do you think we've maxed out, or do you think, man, in the next 10, 15 years, there's even more opportunity to come in?
I love hearing the next generation of barrel racers coming up in youth rodeo, and I love seeing the growth of youth rodeo. And I love people not having a clue who I am or who Baby Flo is, because that generation is now 10 years older.
Mm-hmm.
So Yellowstone, I think, helped us a lot. I think Yellowstone really pushed a lot of casual bystanders into at least wanting to go to a rodeo or see a cow horse event or see something. I think that's really cool. So I think that's really helped us. The great thing about rodeo and the terrible thing about rodeo is that it doesn't change much. But when you're in the business like we are, I think that's a good thing. You know, the trends go slower. It's not high fashion, which is great and sustainable for me as a business owner. I don't have to do things as quickly. Wild. So yeah, I don't have to do it as quickly. I don't have to move on the next big thing, the next big trend. The people in our industry really like a quality product for a reasonable price. That's really cool. Because I'm not being undercut by Target or Walmart. And I think the people in our industry still love to support an American business, and a woman-owned business, I think, is really big still. I think in our value system, ranchers, farmers, professional athletes in rodeo really respect, like, hey, she's doing it. Like, I really, if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to try to go to one of these guys that are doing something first. Like, I'm going to buy a Let's Freakin' Rodeo cap. Just, if I'm going to wear a ball cap, that's what I'm going to do, because that's cool. And it supports these guys, and they're out making content that's free. And that's a way that I can support. Yeah. So,
wow.
I think we have a long way to go.
So what do you think about the connection between how much the money for the athletes is just through the roof, but then when you look at the biggest rodeos, the attendance is growing. But then sometimes you come out here and you're on the road and you're like, sometimes it seems like there's a disconnect between the medium-sized rodeos attendance levels and like how much the sport is growing, because it just feels like a small world at the same time. It's a huge market, huge in terms of money, marketing, advertising, all that stuff. But then the in-person, it almost seems like there's a disconnect sometimes.
I disagree with the fact that rodeo's grown a lot, and that the payout has grown a lot. This is probably controversial also, but my mom has, like, remember that, you guys probably don't even remember, but printers back in the day used to have green and white paper, and they, and she would print all the results from every rodeo, because we'd just gotten the internet, but they didn't post anything like that. So when it came out in the sports journal, she would then type it or have my dad print it out. And I have all of the payouts from 91 to everywhere, all of them. Like, for instance, we're at Nampa and the payout is $2,800 in round one. They changed the format. So like, this rodeo is 2 rounds and a short go. So now you cut that money. Like Cheyenne, I made 6 runs last year and won $600. Yeah, the rodeo is going to pay a lot to the winner. But if you wanted a tricky, free way to keep Haley Kinsel or Fallon Taylor or Cassie Mowry or Brittany Posey at a rodeo for more days and sell more tickets without having to do anything else, all you got to do is just change the format. And none of us are really talking about the fact that I'm sitting here in Nampa. I hit a barrel in the first round. I went and looked at what 10th paid in the first round, because I pulled up, but I would have been like 8th or 9th with my pulled up time, and it paid a couple of $100. Well, we're at a rodeo with $35,000 added. So the pipe dream that, this rodeo has $35,000 added, so, I was going to win $10,000 in the round is gone. You have to go through the gauntlet. I think that the barrier to entry for that money is so much higher than it used to be. So yes, the money is there, but the barrier to entry, you may only have, you're going to have 12 people back in the short round, but the top 4 are the only people that are going to get a piece of the 35,000. So you really have to zoom out, do the math, look at what rodeos paid. I didn't get into Calgary this year. But I looked at it and I was like, well, that's it's a gauntlet. Yes, if I win first, I'm going to win a lot of money, but how many times are you going to win first in rodeo?
Right.
How many times are you going to stub your toe and win third, stub your toe and win 8th, not draw right or whatever? So for me, the barrier to entry, where back in the 90s, rodeos like Houston, I got into Houston in 1997 through a qualifier at a jackpot. Well, they let 300 of us run at the jackpot. I went in, I won Houston, 14 years old. I won it by 100th of a second, and I won $15,000. Well, it's hard to get through Houston winning $15,000 now. I mean, you got it. And yeah, you may be the one person that wins 50.
Yep.
But to be the person that casually goes and wins 10 or 15 is a lot harder now, unless you're winning first every trip.
The connection between money added, but then the degree of difficulty to get there now versus it was shorter. It was a lot easier back then for less money, but it's more money now, but way harder. So that's interesting.
What's the entry fees here in the barrels?
$231.
$231. Huh.
We pay a stock charge. So
whoa, we don't have no stock though.
Them barrels they're hard to feed.
Them barrels are hard to feed.
3 trash cans. I wonder what they got to feed them.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but they should raise those though with 2 rounds and a short round and an average. They're split it up 4 ways, and it's only $200 going to the pot. That doesn't. It's like
what are fees for you?
Like for us here, it'd be $470. So that's why the round is going to pay a lot better. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
What do the rounds pay for you?
Like $4,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$2,800 for us, and they only got 77 here.
Yeah, we got 80. So I don't know. That's interesting. I'm the numbers guy. I was just curious on that, what the fees would be.
We do on the standard NFR, or I guess the NFR. Standard pattern. What's the world record?
The world record comes out of Brazil. It's a 16.2. Very controversial that the Brazilians do it better than we do. They actually bank their dirt, or there was talk of them banking their dirt at the third barrel, and they do it in a very unconventional way. That they, mostly men, running barrels there, and really, really incredible horsemanship, really incredible horses. But that's where the controversy of our horses are so much faster, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of differences. So much respect for Brazil and their world record for the standard pattern. And I am obsessed. I watch every live barrel race that's in Brazil. I watch everything that they do because it's so interesting. And their points, the lines that they run on are so different. Like they kind of loop the barrels, where for us, like we make them really, really tight. That's not to say that they don't have tight turns. But they do things a lot different. Their equipment's a lot different. They actually have weigh-ins. So you don't run against kids like you do in the jackpots for us here. Like you have to be a certain amount of weight to compete together, which is really cool, kind of like the racetrack. And they have great ground, and they run in consistently the same arenas. So my horse has never seen Nampa before. So it's hard. If they set a standard pattern here, it'd be hard to battle a world record somewhere else because, one, this arena is not a rodeo arena. This isn't just an arena that they put dirt in that we happen to be running barrels in. So anyway, it's really cool. But yeah, the Brazilian barrel racing is really cool to watch. Do
you see many Brazilians bring their horses over here and kind of try their luck against some American horses? Maybe because you said that's a kind of a controversy or a competition maybe in people's minds, America versus Brazil barrel racing. Is that something that's had the opportunity to happen?
My dream is to fly my horses over to Brazil and run barrels there. But again, I'd be running on their turf, and their horses primarily run at 10 arenas, let's say. I don't really know. But my horse will have never seen that. So again, it's still probably not a fair shake. But we have amazing Brazilian barrel racers here in America, like Kayla Costa, Marcus Costa's wife.
Yep.
She is incredible. Trains incredible horses. I have a dream of owning one of her horses that she trained at some point, because she just does such a fantastic job. She's also the smallest human on the planet. Yeah. So she could fit in my pocket, so there's a big weight difference between Kayla Costa and myself. She's like 4'9" and I'm 5'8". Yeah. So, there's a big difference, but, they train their horses well. They have a very high standard. They are in incredible shape. They very much take care of their horse's fitness. So it's a lot of similarities, and a lot of things are really different. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty intriguing there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the ranch dressing. Fallon Taylor coming on Let's Freakin' Rodeo. It means a lot. I mean,
thanks for coming on. This is a lot of fun.
This was such an honor. Like so many icons have been on this.
Oh my God.
I feel so cool.
Thank the Lord for those icons getting on so we can get Fallon Taylor. Thank you, Charmaine James, for stepping so we could jog.
Let's Freakin' Rodeo.
Let's Freakin' Rodeo, baby. Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. That was